Welcome to the Homeschool Together podcast. Where one working mom and a stay-at-home dad help you navigate the nuts and bolts of the growing and dynamic world of homeschooling.
With a focus on early learners, like me.
All the ins and outs of building and maintaining your homeschool life.
Homeschool.
Find out tips and tricks to make things like this easier.
I'm reading.
And ultimately, enjoy educating your kids. And what's that last thing?
Have fun together. Did I do good, Daddy?
Yeah, you did, sweetie. Good job. 200 days of homeschooling on the wall. 200 days of homeschooling. Take one down, pass it around. 200 more days of homeschooling.
Yeah, it never ends.
It never ends. Hello, welcome to Homeschool Together Short Bite Edition. We are on episode 200. We made it.
Wow.
To a round number arbitrarily defined by me.
Yeah. I'm kind of you guys, we've been doing this for almost 2 years now, but I really was kind of surprised actually that 200 snuck up on us.
It did. I know. We were doing a lot of episodes. I'm like,
Just
hey,
all of a
sweetie,
sudden it's like 180, 190. Wait a minute.
do we have to do something? Don't people do things on these days?
Yeah, I mean, we plan to celebrate our 2-year anniversary later in August.
We've been together for 2 years. Oh my gosh.
In this capacity.
200 years.
200 episodes. I'm really proud. I think that this podcast has been.
I'm proud of you, Ariel.
I'm proud of you, Booza.
Oh.
This podcast has been a labor of love. It's funny. It was something that originally, we were sitting around, as I think everybody was, in the middle of the pandemic, going like, man, I feel so. I don't know. I was still doing my job, and you were still homeschooling, so we were basically doing what we were doing pre-pandemic. But I felt so like, I don't know, stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everybody kind of had that feeling. And I just spent, gobs and gobs of time on Facebook answering questions from people who were like, help, I'm going to homeschool. Help, I need to homeschool. I've decided I'm going to homeschool. I'm terrified. And I would sit there like all evening, every evening, just like, manically on my phone. And you're like, what is going on? What are you doing? I said, I'm helping people. I have to do this. You're like, I'm not doing anything else with my evenings. We can't go anywhere. Everything is locked down. And I just, these poor people, like I need to help them. And you were like, well, have I got a proposition for you? You were like
200 episodes later, as the famous, I think, Vangelis song from Chariots of Fire. Dun, 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 dun. Ariel and I are still running on the beach.
You're so off tune on that, babe.
Okay, I'm sorry. But we're there. I'm running on the beach.
Yeah, you can't see the running motion. He's
My
doing with his
robotic arm
arms like
motions,
very
yeah.
slowly.
Anyway, so what was the idea of this short bite that we wanted to do with the people?
Well,
the people.
First, we just, obviously want to say thank you for sticking around here, for being here for 200. And we wanted to just kind of be excited for ourselves that we got here and just remembering where we started, just wanting to help people and wanting to share our homeschool journey so that we could help other folks with their journeys and do great interviews and do what I think are really great informational episodes. I try to make them very practical. I do a lot of research for those. So I'm really happy with how those have turned out. And we thought today, just because it's 200 and our toddler was up all night with an ear infection.
That's
so We're running on very little sleep, y'all.
Yes.
As I know that many of you do often.
Well, we're fat and happy from Easter dinner.
Right. We had our Easter dinner and it was fantastic. But I'm like sliding into coma town. So we thought we would just take a few minutes for our 200th, and instead of doing a bunch of research or talking about something new, we just wanted to tell you where we're at and where we're at with our homeschool and kind of what curriculums we're doing now and things we're doing and things we're moving towards. And we just kind of thought we would do a check-in with you all. So that's the basis for this short bite, just a quick check-in.
So we started with ELA?
Yeah, why not?
All right, we went from all about reading. We did the first
we finished level 1.
A, I think is what they call it. Level 1. And then we moved, that was at the beginning of this quote unquote school year. So that would be September, October, November of 2021.
Yeah.
And then we moved into doing the How Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy painful and monotonous lessons.
Yeah, we tried to do that when our daughter was younger, and it was really, really dry.
We did it again, though, afterwards. And
yeah,
actually,
as a follow-up to All About Reading, it worked out really nicely.
the first 70% of the book, first 70 lessons went really well, and then it slowed down because it got progressively more difficult. But I think she liked it. We kind of ended maybe like 1 or 2 lessons early because I don't think we were like gaining anything at the end there.
Yeah.
And
but she really progressed quite a bit under that. We did purchase All About Reading Level 2 and All About Spelling Level 1, which go together.
We actually started both, but we realized that we were kind of doing a little bit too much. We were kind of starting the All About Reading Level 2 with the All About Spelling, maybe doing 1 lesson a week.
Yeah.
And then doing 1 or 2 lessons of the All About Reading Level 2. And then also doing some of the 100 lessons. And as the 100 lessons started to get really involved, like the stories got really long, we pulled back on the All About Reading. We shut down the All About Spelling as well. And that freed up a lot more time to focus on finishing the 100 lessons book. And we basically did. And then we finished that, and we're still having a little bit of confidence issues, a little bit of confidence on the reading, understanding, and understanding comprehension.
So our daughter's 6.5, so it's still a little bit early.
Still early, yeah.
But we are seeing her making some just kind of basic phonics errors that we don't want to go on to. We don't. We decided to stop on AAR2, especially. That's a first grade curriculum, so we felt we didn't have to go on since she is kinder. Although she's an older kinder, so we're always kind of and we don't necessarily go on grades here, as many of you don't in your homeschools, but we thought we would stop the AAR2 for now and just dive into a bunch of early reader books and go back through the AAR1 reading texts and maybe some of the 100 lessons reading texts, and just kind of solidify that. We reached out to somebody at our parent partnership program about these kind of reading challenges. We don't think our daughter's dyslexic. She did need glasses, so that was something. If you all have a young child, I didn't really realize this. I don't know. I just didn't, considering we both wear glasses. I
Not
don't
anymore. I got my eyes lasered.
Yeah, and I have contacts. I just don't even think about it. But I should have taken our daughter when she turned 5, and I just didn't realize it when I took her to the eye doctor. Just a couple of months ago, they told us that she actually does need glasses. Not like a heavy prescription, but she does need them. So we got her those to help with reading. But the Parent Partnership Program recommended that we try to explore coming at reading from a couple of different angles. So they want us to lean into early leveled readers, and they gave us some resources for that. I think it's called Reading A to Z. It's an online resource that we can use and print off books. And then they gave us Explode the Code Kindergarten to work as a workbook that we can work through. So we're going to be starting
We're using that as kind of a review.
Yeah, it's a review for her.
A refresher. So what I've been doing the last week or so, we started doing this, is actually pulling in a lot of these early readers. We have a bunch of early readers just picked up at the consignment sale. It's kind of a scholastic early readers. There's a grouping of early readers from Paw Patrol. nice motivational thing there. We've been pulling in the Usborne early reader stack.
My First Reading Library, I think that is.
And those are really cool books because the adult or the parent will read on the left side of the page, and then on the right side of the page is some easier text that expands on the story. That the early reader can read that. Yeah, we've been doing that. I've also been pulling in the blue books from the All About Reading Level 1 curriculum. You get 3 hardbound books with that curriculum, and I've been pulling in the first book as just sort of a review. And these are very, very simple stories. So just continuing to build that confidence. Also, I've been starting to do a lot of copy work with my learner as well, and I've been finding that to be very helpful. I think she connects more with the auditory element. She really loves audiobooks, so we've been leaning on that as well. But taking what she hears and actually translating that down into writing, I've been doing a lot of word practicing on copy work. So in some respects, almost like a little spelling quiz, and she writes those words down. Then also I have her pick any book in the house. Doesn't matter what it is. Could be a cookbook, could be her Lego book, could be an early reader, the newspaper. Doesn't matter anything. We find 1 or 2 sentences on there. We read them. We have her do the copy work. And just kind of reinforcing her writing, but also the reading element and understanding what she's reading. So kind of this eclectic mix of things that we're doing right now. And we're committed, me and you, we Ariel and I have talked about this. We're going to commit to this for a couple months here, maybe 2-3 months.
Yeah, maybe do it over the summer.
And really just reinforce the that love of reading. And that's something that I've been really seeing. And I know the reading specialist for us has been really helpful, I think, with just understanding on, how to correct when your learner gets something wrong, when to fix things, not letting them make those mistakes that are easy, having them correct that. And then also just leaning back onto the phonics. But she also had this really cool idea, and maybe we can pursue this, maybe find somebody who can maybe bring her on and help us understanding that there's a difference between phonics, being able to decode words, and then reading.
And sometimes having to intuit. Like the example, she had a picture, it was the very first early kindergarten reader. Yeah, right. And the word was beak, and it showed an up close of a chicken's beak. And it's like, okay, well, you want them to know the b and the k, and kind of in its e. Oh, beak. You're kind of like there's an intuiting part of it. Yeah,
it's that tension between phonics and sight words reading.
Yeah,
and understanding.
It was kind of interesting
how to draw the learner across from that, because I think our daughter does a really good job at decoding words. Yeah. The problem is she just decodes everything, and she doesn't trust herself to know that that word isn't it's on. Just memorize that it's on, and I think there's a little bit of that tension there for her, and she just falls back on decoding because it's it's very easy and she'll always get the right answer, but then you lose context and you lose speed and you lose interest. And so I think we're in that kind of stage where she's going to start to do a little bit more sight reading than the phonics reading. Yeah. And then when she gets to a word she's never seen before, she can decode it.
So we need more time on book, we decided. So we're getting lots of book resources. Our parent partnership also gave us some early phonics games that we can play with her. Unfortunately, a lot of them are out of print. Otherwise, I would do reviews for you, Paul. But we're going to see how this new plan works with reading. We're going to try to get a reading specialist on the podcast to talk to us too, and talk to all of you about teaching children to read. So
especially this early age when they're just going from that decoding level into the actual reading level, because I know we're all thinking about how can we get our kid from reading the CVC words and maybe some weird long and short vowel sounds into they're going to sit down and read an early reader level 1, early reader level 2, and there's that. Sometimes it feels like there's a huge gulf, this void between those two, and I'd love to talk to a reading specialist on what techniques and what do we have to think about to get our learner across that gap. And it does seem, which is, I think, a difficult answer for most of us because we're all very impatient homeschooling parents, but it does take time. And I think that's what a lot of the things that I'm having to come to grips with is that it just takes time, and they're going to have to just get the confidence to actually do the thing they need to do.
And she's very excited about it, and so that's why we're pushing it. But that's ELA. So let's move on to math. Keep this a short bite.
Yeah, math has been great. We did Right Start Math last year, finished the first level A. Yep. And then we went into it and did I did a bunch of like eclectic addition work and doing a lot of games and stuff and workbooks. We did the mathematical reasoning book as a refresher. And then at the beginning of this year, we started the level 1 Math Mammoth. And if you go back, I think a couple episodes and listen to the interview with Maria Miller, it was really good. We've had a really good experience with that, and we really enjoyed it. I think we've got a nice copy of the level 2 as well.
Yeah, we're ready to use that.
What we're going to do is we're going to finish this grade 1. I think we're like 2 weeks out from finishing the book. And then I'm going to jump into Right Start Math level B, and then carry that through, I think, basically the rest of this year.
Yeah, so we're doing this alternating plan. We do Right Start, and then we reinforce and practice with Math Mammoth. So
it's been a nice balance.
So far, it's worked out really well.
It has.
So science,
we've been doing the Blossom and Root space kind of unit study, 30-something weeks.
Yeah, space science for level K. It comes with their kindergarten curriculum, and we've been really liking it. The Adventures of Zula. It's all about planets and things, and we haven't been as on top of it as we'd like to be. I've been trying to do things, but
I've been trying to do like one a week, and I think it's been working really nice. You get a lot of ideas, and we have a lot of science books, so we've pulled those kind of down, pulled them all down, put them into the crate, and then we have kind of free reign through those books to use. We use the resources and do the activities that are in the book, and that's been pretty nice. We're also using Evan Moore workbooks as well. There's a STEM and a STEAM book, both for level K, and we've been slowly working through those as well, and those have been very enjoyable.
Our daughter really likes it.
Yeah, she really enjoys it. And also it's nice because every few pages there's a new concept. Maybe they'll go from pollution to talking about the sea to talking about weather. And it just keeps it nice and fresh. It's not really super overly complex. There's some nice activities in there that you can do.
She's been enjoying all of these different aspects.
I like the STEM book because it's kind of broken up into these lessons. And then at the end of the lesson, there's a science experiment that they have to solve a problem, given a bunch of materials. They have to think about the problem, put a plan in action, do it, run the experiment, and then see if it worked or not. And that's been really, really good. And I think that's been kind of a nice, we're kind of hitting the science element there. And then whatever interests kind of blossom out of that, whatever things are talked about, we can then kind of go in other directions as well. But that's been a nice thing for us to do. Handwriting, we're still doing the Danielian books. That's working really nice. And now we've blended in a lot of the copy work.
I found a font that's really close to Danielian, so I can even take, passages from books or other phrases, and I can print them out quickly, and then she can, in a Danielian script, and then she can copy those. So that's been really good because there aren't a lot of Danielian books out there for us to use, so we have to kind of add our own stuff. And I guess I can put a link to the font in the show notes. Just remind me, hon.
In games-wise, we've been playing a lot of Double Six Dominoes, a lot of Solitaire and Free Cell.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We have all these very expensive, fancy games, but she's gotten really into card games and dominoes. But it's been great. She's been keeping score, which has been awesome.
Yeah, the dominoes keeping score up to 100. Really nice because you get that kind of that carrying the one element.
Definitely.
But also, if you want to reverse it and say count down from 100, so first person to 0, same way to do it. So you can reinforce both addition with the carrying of the one, and then also the borrowing. If you're doing subtraction, especially with the ones place, tens place work, and all the way up to the hundreds place, if you want a little bit more practice and effort around that, doing dominoes or playing any type of game that is a kind of a trick taking game, or anything that actually is a cumulative score. You can play both up and down, and it's a great way for them to.
She loves to keep score.
Yeah, she loves to keep score. She doesn't even think she's doing math, and that's obviously that's Mr. Burns' hands. That's part of the reason why we do these things. But yeah, that's been I think games wise, she's been doing that. We've also been playing. I know for her and I, Silver and Gold, we've been playing. I let her test the waters with Minecraft, but I'm not letting that.
Yeah, I don't think we're quite ready for that yet. Yeah. You guys have been playing a lot of games. As you know, as you probably know, we're doing our Around the World study. We are nearing the end with that. We're in North Africa, so we're going to be heading through Africa, and then
4 weeks in Africa,
Australia, New Zealand, Antarctica, Oceania, the Arctic. So we're in the home stretch here. We've really enjoyed it. Although I think we're kind of getting to the point where we're ready to do something different. So it'll be exciting as we finish up this study and move on. We're going to be starting into prehistory and things. Actually, this summer I'm going to be doing a month of Harry Potter.
And I think when you're ready for that, we're going to do a whole podcast on what you plan to do with that.
I will try to, because our daughter's only 6.5, and a lot of the resources for doing unit studies with Harry Potter are meant for older kids. I haven't really been able to find a lot for younger, so I'm going to be combining some of the information from. I did get the Build Your Library unit study, and it's really good, and I will totally do it when my daughter is like 9, but she's just too young right now for it. And I do have Waldock's Wizards and Wands from the Waldock Way, and so I've gotten some books from kind of each thing, and I think I'm going to have to just put together my own plan because she's just not old enough to do anything more formal that they would normally have you do. So I will talk about what I'm going to do when I'm ready, but I have not planned out that far yet.
It's all leading up to when she turns 7, which I think you're going to read.
We're going to read Goblet of Fire when she turns 7. Yeah. So we're just.
Well, you're going to read. Chambers and then Azkaban again, then Goblet.
Every time we go to a new one, we got to read all of them.
But you're not going to read Philosopher's Stone for all the Brits out there.
I don't know if I can go through it yet again. I mean, as much as I love it, I think I've read it like 5 times.
Maybe what you could do is you could prime it with just the movie, and then you can read the book. Or
maybe we'll just do the audiobook. I don't know. So that's what we're doing for that. I think that takes care of everything for our older one.
And maybe when we get later in this, towards the closer to the summer, we'll do a little bit of a talk. I've been putting together kind of a game plan for us for summer.
Yes, we will talk about our summer plan. That will definitely be an episode. We'll talk all about it. So I think that's everything really for our older one, and then for our younger one, we're just starting playing preschool from the Busy Toddler.
Yeah, we have a free day every week that free morning that
it's been good so far.
That I have with her just alone, and I think we're going to start using that on I think a Tuesday morning we'll start doing that.
It's got lots of fun stuff, and even our, our daughter's almost 3. She can be 3 in a couple months, and our 6.5-year-old still likes to participate.
Yeah.
I mean, she also wants to stamp with apples. Who would not want to stamp with apples? I really think. So, so that's been mostly our plan. We're going to do that with our younger daughter.
Because I'm really
playing preschool.
I'm really seeing she's starting to get ready for it. Like she'll sit down and listen to books.
Yeah.
She want to do activities. She's starting to play around with letters. Really enjoys art. Really enjoys a lot of pencil work and crayon work. So I think we're getting there. And I do have that free morning with her on the Tuesdays, but I also have another free morning where she's with me at the parent partnership. And then maybe another time we can do a little bit more as well. So I'm starting to get into that point where I'm starting to think about, what we need to do for our soon to be 3-year-old. It's amazing. We started this podcast. We were just looking at the pictures. It was very funny. She wasn't even 1 yet. And she was just over 1 when we started. She was just over 1, yeah. And now she's 3. And it's going to be really fun now that we get to start to do the things again that we did with her older sister. Yeah,
it's really fun. The things we started talking about on the podcast. As we said, it's coming around again.
As we said, her sister's getting kind of like the Scooby-Doo wagon of things to do, and her sister's going to get the Lamborghini. It's going to be like curated, perfect content for her.
But then she's going to want something different. She's going to throw us a curveball, I think. But yeah, we're planning to do playing preschool with her, and then start to transition her into the early years of Blossom and Root, because we really enjoyed that with our older daughter. So, but we are going to start with playing preschool because it's just so darn cute.
Well, it'd be cool too, because we can do the level 1 of the Blossom and Root early years. We didn't do that one. We did level 2.
Yeah,
right?
And we might do some sort of amalgamation. I don't know that I'm going to do all of it, because we do really, before we get into, in a few years going around the world again, I think we're going to do I definitely want to do Torchlight Pre-K, because I really, really enjoyed that. So we've got kind of a plan going forward, but that's where we're at. That's what our kids are doing. Our kids are also very into watching shows together on PBS. They've been really into painting. They're getting into puzzles together. And all that kind of imaginative
play. A lot
play.
of group play now, a lot of Lego play together, a lot of Barbie play together. And so it's been really nice to be able to start to slowly incorporate the two of them together. And I think that's going to be the path going forward is them kind of working together alongside each other. And especially with some of the plans we have in the long term, actually having them do the same curriculums together.
Yeah, we do plan to eventually merge them into Build Your Library, I believe, when they're ready to. But so that's where we're at. So episode 200.
We survived.
Hey, and we don't have any intention of stopping. We really love this podcast, and we appreciate all of you who are here. So let us know, what are you guys doing? What are you in the middle of? We love hearing from other families, because that's how we and others find out about new curriculum and new options out there and things, and great books. What are you reading? And we're in the middle of reading.
What am I reading? Shogun.
No, we're reading Beezus and Ramona, so Beverly Cleary, which is interesting for 1955. Now, I've only read the first book. I have to confess, if there's something later that doesn't work for a modern audience, I don't know, because I haven't been there yet. But for the first book, I have to say it was really good. Our daughter, as an older sister, completely identified with Beezus, and in some ways it really helped because, her sister is better than Ramona. Like Ramona was really, she does a pretty naughty child a lot of times. So, she really was starting to appreciate, like, wow, my sister's not that bad. And I think it gave her a new, a kind of a new understanding of her sister. We just read the last chapter last night, where Beezus admits that she doesn't always love Ramona because sometimes, Ramona breaks things or messes things up or whatever. But that there are other times when she really loves her, and it's okay. It's okay to not love your sister every second of the day, as long as we come back around, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And anyway, it was just a really good message, and I was very surprised for a book from 1955 that it really held up this well. So we're going to continue with that series, and we'll see how that goes. But let us know. What are you in the middle of? What are you reading? What is your family into? So why don't you do a check-in with us, and I'll post this on Facebook. So hopefully you can all chime in and let us know what you're up to. Happy 200, Matt.
Happy 200, wife. I love you.
Love you too. Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time.
Happy homeschooling!